Sync point 4, JoJo's Part 5, Episode 29. 3, 2, 1, go. Come along with me, and the butterflies and bees. We can wander through the forest and do so as we please. Do so as we please should be close enough. Okay, 3, 4, 7, 15, 23. Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Part 5, Episodes 29 through 32 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is awesome. We are really close to the end of Part 5. I do believe the second batch of Part 6 episodes recently dropped, so that's cool. So all things are coming up JoJo's, and last set was incredible. I mean, Doppio, what can I say? Abaccio, what can I fucking say? Amazing set of episodes. We only did 3 in the last set, so it wasn't even a big set, but it felt like a fat fucking set. And we are nearing the end. We've got 4 episodes in this video, 3 episodes next time around, and then the final 4 episodes of Part 5. So we only have 2 more Part 5 videos after this, and then I do have some OVAs that I will be reacting to in the following rotation, but after this video, there's only 3 more rotations left of JoJo's, because, as I've mentioned in many of my videos, we are taking a hiatus from JoJo's after Part 5. My current plan, and this is probably what will end up being the case, given the nature of it seems like there's not going to be that much longer left before Part 6 is actually finished. I'm probably going to be doing 2 series, like 2 kind of medium-ish length anime series after JoJo's in Slot 5. And then when both of those are done, Slot 5 will probably return to JoJo's with Part 6. That's kind of my plan. I have 2 specific series in mind that I'm planning to do after JoJo's in this slot. And I'm kind of thinking after that, I'm just going to give this slot 5, back to JoJo's for Part 6. It's still going to be a little while. Like, I'm not immediately going from JoJo's into the next really long anime series. That's going to be in slot 1, and that's going to be after Violet Evergarden and Owari Monogatari. So there's going to be a little bit of gap between JoJo's and the next really long anime, whereas JoJo's immediately replaced Hunter x Hunter in the same slot. We are kind of moving officially now, the long series slot is slot 1, and I'm kind of loosely considering, the end of Monogatari part of that, and then, we'll get into the next long series after we finish Owari Monogatari, which is after Violet Evergarden. So, yeah, we're not going to be jumping into a super long anime immediately after JoJo's. That'll be in slot 1 once we finish Monogatari. But for the time being, we are nearing the end of JoJo's. It's really exciting to think about, and what's fun about it is we're going to take this break from JoJo's, like I said, and then after a while, we're going to come back to JoJo's. That's what's really exciting about it. I might even get to it a little sooner than I think, but currently my plan is to do 2 series that will take up a bit of time, so it will be, because I do kind of want a break. And it's looking like JoJo's Part 6 is probably going to be finished before I really want to jump into it. So I don't think I'm going to get to it like the second that Part 6 is done or anything like that. So I'm probably going to give it a little time to sit. And like I said, I'm planning to do 2 series in this slot after JoJo's. And then I'm thinking the 3rd series after JoJo's will just be the return of JoJo's with Part 6. That's how I have it planned out in my head. And I don't really think I'm going to change that. So it's going to, so it's really monumental because we are nearing the end of JoJo's. I mean, to give you an idea of how close we are, the next anime that I will react to on the channel will be the JoJo's replacement, which is nuts. Given the fact that we've done at this point, this will be, if I'm not mistaken, the 41st JoJo's video. This is the 41st rotation of JoJo's. That is fucking insane. But, and we're also coming up on nearly 2 years of JoJo's, because we started JoJo's in January 2021, and it is nearing the end of 2022, which is crazy as well. But, yeah, I had a blast. I thought the last set was probably the best set of Part 5, and that has been a tall task, because there has been so much greatness in this part. And we are nearing the end. Like I said, we have 11 episodes left, and we're going to be tackling 4 of them in this video, so I'm super excited. Unfortunately, this is going to be a day later than I wanted it. I'm recording it Thursday night, and would have liked to have put it up on Friday, but I had some issues with getting Haikyuu up. So Haikyuu is taking an extra day, so it's going to be on Friday instead of Thursday, which means this is going to be on Saturday instead of Friday. It is what it is. It kind of works itself out, because we did kind of like, we are skipping the Fate, the Fate this week. So if it wasn't for Fate and I didn't have the Haikyuu issues, but we were also doing the normal Let's Play on Friday, this would have been out on Saturday. So this didn't really get delayed. It was really just the Haikyuu, but, you know, I still was planning to get this out on Friday, but whatever, doesn't matter. Let's just jump in. I'm excited to see what they're going to do now that Abachio's gone, and we went through some fucking sad shit last time, and we learned a lot more about the boss and Doppio, and, yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this plays out. So let's jump into episode 29 of Golden Wind in 3, 2, 1, and play. What's the episode called? Green Day and Oasis. Interesting that's part 1 too. So that means Green Day and Oasis part 1, Green Day and Oasis part 2, and 32 is going to be something else, or maybe part 3. Who knows, I guess. Okay, that was, well, no, episode 32, we're probably going to meet this person. That's probably what the set ender is we're going to meet whoever this guy is at the Colosseum. Yes, that was episode 29 of Golden Wind. That was pretty good. That was definitely a solid start to the set. Like I said, not as spicy as last set. Last set was just insane. All 3 episodes were just crazy. This one started off a little more chill, a little more traditional. We had a fun, pair of enemies, Chocolata and Seko, who we're going to deal with, and their stands, Green Day, and it seems like Oasis, which is pretty funny. But, yeah, we got a mold stand, which is certainly not something I was expecting, but at this point, there's nothing that you could possibly expect in JoJo's. There's going to be a stand that does anything you could fucking imagine. At the rate that Araki's going here. So nothing's ever off the table when it comes to stand powers or stand names for that matter. If you have ever picked up a instrument in your life, Araki might name a stand after you. Or, and I'm counting a microphone as an instrument here because, yeah. So, that's fucking crazy. We got a little more Doppio in this episode, and we really kind of built up, Chocolata's and Seko's just insanity and just their bloodlust, given the fact that even Doppio is repulsed, even Diavolo, we have a name now for the boss, Diavolo is repulsed by Chocolata and Seko, so that really tells you just how fucked up they are. And how much wanton destruction they cause. That even Diavolo is repulsed by them, which really does say a lot. So, really cool. Fun episode of JoJo's. Definitely a good start to the set, but nothing particularly amazing. I didn't think this was like a crazy JoJo's episode or anything. Just a solid start, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here. And how they do with Chocolata and Seko, because it's clearly going to take them at least 2 more episodes to defeat them, since given this is, again, part 1 coming up in the next episode. So we know that episode 30 is going to be episode 31 is going to be part 2. So that should be interesting. I'm definitely curious to see what Seko does. He's kind of like body covered, so his stand should be pretty interesting. And Oasis, it seems, and we don't necessarily know what his stand does just yet. So I'm curious to see what it does and if it has any direct synergy with Green Day. That could be really cool as well. So lots of fun stuff, but we're off to the races, and we're about to jump into the 30s of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. It's so crazy. Like I said, anytime, we've been doing a series as long as JoJo's and we're nearing the end of the journey like this, even though, again, we have a confirmed return. Like, unlike something like Hunter x Hunter, I know that I'm going to be back with part 6 of JoJo's not that far into the future. I mean, like I said, I plan to take a fairly lengthy hiatus, but we are going to get back in time. But, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to some more JoJo's. So let's jump into episode 30 of Golden Wind. Yes, sir. What's our, part 2? Yep. Yeah, and you never know in case they pull some weird nonsense. But yeah, of course it was Green Day and Oasis part 2. Alrighty, that was episode 30 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, and that one was really good. I really enjoyed that. We got the big reveal that we had been a little suspicious about. There was definitely something of that nature going on, but it was the worst case scenario as it pertained to Bucciarati, which is that he did in fact die from King Crimson, which I do like. It's still weird, but like I appreciate that, because that felt like a really big death fake out, and I like how we're at least giving it the lasting consequences. Like, he's going to stick around basically for the rest of the journey, but in the end, we are going to lose Bucciarati, and that's going to fucking suck. I don't know if knowing in advance makes it better or worse, honestly. I said it made it better, but now you're going to anticipate it, and it's almost worse when it's inevitable, right? That does make me think, though, that the rest of the boys are going to make it through, because losing Abbacchio and Bruno feels like enough loss. So Giorno, Narancia, Mista are probably all going to make it through, and then we're still waiting on, I still fully expect something to happen with Fugo between now and the end of part 5. So, probably not in this set, but I imagine in either the next set or the finale set, he's gonna. I fully expect to see him again. I can't really imagine them ending his arc like that. Even if he just shows up at the end, like, good job, you guys did it, and like whatever, like that would be cool, even if it's just that. But something tells me he's gonna have a bigger role in some form or fashion. But we'll see. I'm kind of waiting for a big Fugo return, but we'll see if I actually get it. But yeah, no, that was a really fun episode of JoJo's. I love the dynamic between Seko and Cioccolata. Seko's power is pretty cool. It's it's a bit weird, but I feel like it's more in the range of the type of stands that, not necessarily like super fucking strange. And yeah, it's awesome to see the synergy that Seko and Cioccolata stands have, and also just the pure destruction and just the death that can come from Cioccolata's stand, and how he can basically fucking kill everyone. He just keeps going. He's just gonna fucking go ham, and it's gonna be nasty, and there's very little you can do to stop him. It's a crazy fucking stand, and I love it. So I think that's a really cool situation we have going on with them. So I'm definitely really excited for more of them, and we're obviously going to get more of them in the next episode, given it's called Green Day and Oasis Part 2. I imagine it will be the last part, though, because I'm assuming episode 32 is going to be focused on us meeting this mystery man at the Roman Colosseum. So, that's going to be, and we're going to get the big reveal, and that's why it's the last episode of a set, and, it makes perfect sense. But I'm definitely excited to see how they beat Cioccolata and Seko. Obviously, it's Seko versus Bruno, and it's Giorno and Mista versus Cioccolata. So it should be interesting to see how those conflicts get resolved, presumably in the next episode. Should be a lot of fun. Should get some interesting action out of it. And I'm wondering if it feels to me like Cioccolata and Secco are kind of the last throws that the boss has, and then after that it's just Doppio and Diavolo. So I don't really think this feels like the last thing that the boss can really throw at us. I could be wrong, and there's always the possibility of something with Fugo. Potentially, we'll see. That's possibly on the cards, but I don't think he's going to come back in that context, but it is certainly possible. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to where this goes, and I enjoyed that episode, and I imagine episode 31 will be really fun too. But I don't really have that much to say about that episode. That was just Cioccolata and Secco raising hell, and the boys trying to combat it, and now it's up to them to finish the job. Like I said, for Bruno to finish the job with Secco, and for Giorno and Mista to finish the job with Cioccolata. So let's just jump right in to episode 31 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 5. But it's so cool to see him. Wow, it really is Green Day and Oasis Part 3. Wow. It really was. I thought there was a possibility of that, but it actually was. That's epic. Okay. Wow. Holy moly. That was a great episode. That was just I love how they portrayed Cioccolata as being just pure evil, the most evil character in Part 5, one of the most evil characters in all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and how because he was portrayed as such, he got this really fucked up ending where he got shot, and then he got fucked up in the head by a stag beetle, and then he got fucking murdered to death. He even got we got all the fucking Dio-isms out of Giorno there. And then he even gets fucking burned. His body gets burned in the fucking trash, taken out the trash. So that whole thing was hilarious. So over the top, so JoJo's, and that was fucking awesome. We still have, Secco and Oasis to deal with, so that obviously is going to go down in episode 32. I figured we would have defeated both Oasis and Green Day by this point, but clearly we still have another episode to take care of them, which is pretty cool. I'm down. We don't see the 3-parters very often in JoJo's. They usually like to keep most of the episode titles with either the 1 or a Part 1, Part 2. But hey, 3-parter works just as well. And of course, at the end of the episode, we get the reveal that the person that we are meeting is none other than the boy Jean-Pierre Polnareff. Our French boy is back after a long hiatus. We obviously have not seen him since the end of Stardust Crusaders, which was quite a while ago. It would have been about 70, it's been about 70 episodes of JoJo's, I believe, since we've actually seen Polnareff. It is fucking great to see him. He's obviously in a wheelchair, so he's had quite the life, I imagine. Hopefully, though, he's been able to live it to the fullest, and hopefully that's something that's relatively recent. Hopefully he didn't, he's not in the worst of shapes. But, yeah, it's so cool to see him. I'm really excited to see Polnareff. I guess if I really thought about it more, I probably would have came up with Polnareff, just because the implication was that it's someone who's a lot older than when we last saw them, and that implies Part 3 or even part 2 maybe, but that implies most likely part 3 character. And when you kind of run down the list, like, it's obviously it's not a Jotaro. It's not going to be Jotaro. It's not going to be Joseph. And then, Kakyoin didn't make it. And, the Abdal stuff. It kind of like, you just kind of go down the list and you realize, like, Polnareff makes a lot of sense. I didn't necessarily know. I think the reason I didn't outright predict Polnareff is because I didn't know if it would necessarily be, like, a character that major. I didn't know if this would be, like, more of a side character from the past that, was cool and survived or something, or if it was going to be a major character, like, obviously, Polnareff, who was kind of, like, outside of, like, Jotaro, and maybe you could argue Joseph, but really outside of Jotaro, Polnareff was kind of the main character of Stardust Crusaders. So, that's awesome. That's a fucking reveal and a half. That's a great fucking, that's probably the last, like, big reveal from the past that I'm going to get in my JoJo's journey until part 6, because I'm sure we will get people from previous parts in part 6, because that's been the trend, obviously. Jotaro so far has had a minimal role in part 4 and 5, and I imagine he will at this rate probably will continue to. Who fucking knows? But who knows? That's a whole other story. That has to do with the predictions of who the fuck I even think the JoJo's gonna be, and, like, I don't fucking know. Like, what's his deal gonna be? What's the whole situation with the actual main character, and, like, how are they gonna be related to who? And there's, like, multiple paths, and, like, what time period it takes place, and that's a whole nother mess that we'll get into. I won't even bother making predictions at the end of part 5. I'll save those for when I finally do part 6. But I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm really enjoying this arc with Seko and Chocolata, and I thought Chocolata was a really cool character, and like I said, I really liked the really strong emphasis on how, evil he was, and how he's just, like, the worst, and he's kind of like the epitome of evil in part 5, which is really cool. And yeah, like I said, we still have one more episode to take care of Seko and presumably meet Polnareff, and wrap things up here as we kind of get into, this will kind of wrap up our, like, stuff, and then obviously after this next episode we'll only have 7 episodes left, and then it's really just about figuring out our plan, I imagine, in the next set, and then the final confrontation with the boss in the final set. So we are starting to get down into the nitty-gritty of part 5, and it's awesome to see. I feel pretty good about it. I want to wait until the end, but I think there's a very good chance that this will potentially go down as my favorite part of JoJo's. It has been such a fun ride from start to finish, and I think, especially just given how much I've enjoyed Golden Wind, even more kind of makes me want to take a break from JoJo's, because I think this is such a great place to leave off for a while before we eventually do part 6. So I'm just definitely, everything's just coming up JoJo's. Everything's working out perfectly, I feel like, with this reaction series, and I'm really excited. So yeah, we got one more episode to check out, part 3 of Green Day and Oasis, and episode 32 of Golden Wind. Three is called. Sure, that makes sense. His name is Diavolo. We are about to finally actually learn his name. We, the viewers, have already learned Diavolo's name, but it will be fun to actually see the characters learn Diavolo's name. But well, they already did, but, like, properly, like, for real. I guess they already kind of did, because Polnareff told them, but whatever. Obviously, we're starting off with a Diavolo Doppio episode next time, which will be lit. Yeah, I should have to write down that Diavolo is the boss's name. Okay. That was fun. I definitely enjoyed that set of JoJo's quite a bit. I really liked Chocolata and Seko. I thought they were really cool villains. They were really cool tandem. I feel like they got a nice focus, each of them, in this set, and I thought they were both really fun. They were essentially like the last villains besides Doppio and Diavolo, so I definitely think that in the final 7 episodes, the focus is going to be on the boss. And that seems about right, but yeah, I mean, for final villains before our actual final boss, literally and figuratively, they were really cool. I liked how just kind of downright evil they were, like I already mentioned with Chocolata in particular. But yeah, and I thought their personal dynamic, like their dynamic, was really fun. And I like how Seko just was like, fuck him immediately. But then at the end, when he got fucked too, he was like, oh, it's my boy. And then they get burned alive. Well, one gets burned alive, one gets burned dead. Just gets burned. But I don't know. It was really cool. And I thought that was a really fun episode and a really fun set. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm really excited for the next 2 sets, because we didn't get much of Doppio and Diavolo in this set, but we're obviously going to get a ton of them in the final 2 sets. And we got Polnareff in this set, and we're obviously going to get more of him in the next set, which is super fucking hype. I can't wait to see him, and I'm imagining, yeah, Giorno is going to get it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Bucciarati survives this following set, like what happens there. I get the feeling Doppio is gonna like try and be like friendly and help him and stuff, and that's obviously, and that doesn't mean that Bucciarati could still die and everything, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Like and just any interactions between Doppio and Bucciarati sounds absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, there's just a lot of hype. It's really crazy. We have 7 episodes. However you want to look at it, either way, it's crazy. We have 7 episodes left of JoJo's Golden Wind. We have 2 sets or 2 videos left of JoJo's Golden Wind. It's either, however you want to slice it, 7 episodes or 2 sets. Either way, it's nuts, because it means we're almost done with part 5. Which means at the time that I started this journey, we were almost done with all the JoJo's that was out when this journey started. Now, obviously, between now and then, we've gotten most of Part 6. Part 6 is not finished yet, and I'm not entirely sure when the rest of Part 6 is dropping, but the first 2 batches of Part 6 have already dropped, and the third is coming at some point, I imagine, obviously. But yeah, obviously, because I plan to, take a break from JoJo's for quite a while after Part 5 and, the OVAs I'll be doing, we're also only 3 sets away from me going on my hiatus from JoJo's, which is nuts that we only have a couple more JoJo's videos left this year. I can very confidently say that these will be the last JoJo's videos. The rest of Part 5 and then the OVA video I'm doing after will be the final JoJo's videos of 2022, which is crazy. And yeah, it's so cool. I love this show. This show has really become something special for me. I think when I get the time away from JoJo's, I think it's going to make Part 6 so much more special, because obviously for Parts 1 to 5, or I guess Parts 2 to 5, I went into them, immediately or shortly after finishing the previous part. There was no breaks with this series, so, and I think that's one of the things that has made me, I think, really appreciate Monogatari, even though I wouldn't necessarily do it, preferably I wouldn't have done it as frequent, and maybe I would have had like 2 or 3 breaks between the course of Monogatari if I could have redone it. But having those and extending its lifespan like that did make me really appreciate, I think, each part of it that much more. And as much as I love JoJo's, obviously it's been JoJo's. This is the 41st consecutive rotation where the Slot 5 video was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And the 42nd will be coming next rotation, the 43rd, and then finally the 44th. So we're talking about over 40 rotations in a row where we get around to that and it's JoJo's. So obviously it will be really nice to take a break from this series for quite a while, but I'm just so happy that I love Part 5 as much as I do, because to leave it off on such a high note, and Golden Wind might be the highest note so far in the JoJo's series. It is a fantastic part. It's fun as fuck. The characters are great. The story's great. You know, the setting is great. The fucking gangsters are great. Like, everything about this has just been so much fun. And I can't wait to see what the climax looks like with Diavolo and Doppio, with Polnareff giving us a trump card, apparently, with and just how it all ends. It's gonna be really fucking fun. So I'm really excited for what comes next. But for the time being, that is going to wrap up our reaction to episodes 29 to 32 of Part 5. So if you want to support the channel, my Patreon's down below in the description, and my Discord server is as well. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you who have not yet decided, without any further ado, it is time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark, signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.